Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Read a Book and Chill. Today, we're going to continue reading Spooksville-The Howling Ghost. Now we're on chapter 4. And just a quick recap what's been happening before. Cindy Makepeace's brother was kidnapped by the Howling Ghost at the lighthouse, and Sally and Adam and Watch went to meet her so they can help her. And now they're headed over to the lighthouse to look for her brother. Spooksville-The Howling Ghost, chapter 4. By Christopher Pike. The way to the lighthouse was hard. Not only was the lighthouse at the end of the jetty, but also the narrow wooden bridge that crossed from the pile of boulders to the lighthouse itself was worn and cracked. Adam took one look at it and wished he brought his bathing suit. The bridge looked as if it would collapse the moment he stepped on it. Fortunately, the ocean was calm. The waves brushing against the jetty were only a foot high. Adam believed if he fell in the water, he'd have no trouble getting out. But then Sally started on her gruesome history of Spooksville again. It was near here that Joss lost his leg, Sally said as they stared down at the water that separated them from the lighthouse. Who? Adam asked with regret. David Green, Sally said. He was the guy I told you about. He was about on his boogie board when a great white shark came by and bit off his right leg. In fact, I think it was almost at this exact spot. I thought you said that he was close to the shore when he was attacked, Adam said, glancing back the way they had come. Jumping from rock to reach the end of the jetty had not been difficult, but they were nevertheless pretty far from the beach. Adam wouldn't like to be out on the jetty when the surf was up. The waves would crash right over them. I can't remember every detail, Sally replied. All I know is if you go in this water, you will probably come out with pieces missing. Adam turned to Watch. The bridge looks as if it's about to fall. I don't know if we should risk it. The girls weigh less, Watch said. We should send one of them across first to see how it holds up. Watch, Sally yelled. You miserable coward. I was just making a logical suggestion, Watch said. I'll go first, Cindy said quietly. If my brother's in the lighthouse, I should be the one to take the biggest risks. Sally patted her on the back. I wish I had a sister as devoted as you. Adam stepped between them. Wait a second. This isn't right. One of us guys should go first. Are you forgetting that there are only two of us guys here, Watch said. Why are you being such a coward? Adam asked. It's not like you. Watch shrugged. I don't want to hurt Cindy's feelings, but I think the chances of that her brother is locked in the lighthouse are lousy. For that reason, I don't want to lose an arm or a leg. He paused and glanced at Cindy, who had lowered her head to the woods. But if you all want to give it a try, I'll go first. Watch took a step towards the rickety bridge. Adam stopped him. I'm lighter than you, Adam said. I'll go first. Watch glanced down at the blue water, which had begun to churn slightly since they arrived. All right, Watch said. If the bridge breaks, get out of the water as quick as you can. Adam nodded and felt his heart pound in his chest. He was about to take his first step onto the bridge when a hand touched his arms. It was Cindy. Her face was creased with worry. For the second time that day, he thought how beautiful her blue eyes were, how bright the sun shone in her blonde hair. Be careful, Adam, Cindy whispered. Adam smiled. I'm used to danger. It doesn't faze me. Yeah, Sally said sarcastically. Mr. Kansas City grew up wrestling great white sharks in his backyard swimming pool. Adam ignored Sally and turned back to the bridge. It had handrails that were made of rope and looked every bit as old as the wooden planks beneath them. Carefully placing his weight on the first plank, Adam took a step above the water. He had to try hard not to glance down at the water. It looked awfully cold and deep. If he stared real hard, he could imagine huge shapes just below the surface. Adam took another step forward. The bridge creaked uneasily and sagged beneath him. He now had his entire weight on it. A third step forward caused the bridge to sink even more. It was only 20 feet from the end of the jetty to the pile of stones that supported the lighthouse, but at the rate he was going, he wouldn't reach it till next month. The thought came to him that perhaps if he hurried, the bridge wouldn't feel his weight as much. It was a brave idea, but a bit foolish. Adam took off running across the bridge. He was inches from the other side when it broke. The bridge didn't just break in one spot. The whole thing collapsed. 1 second Adam was running for his life, and the next he was swimming for it. He hit the water hard and went under. His timing was bad. He was sucking in breath when he slipped under the surface. As a result, he came up choking. He could hear the others yelling, but he couldn't answer them. Salt water stung his eyes. He coughed hard and flayed with his arms. The water was freezing. Swim, Sally cried. A shark's coming. Adam almost had a heart attack right then. The day he moved to Spooksville, a tree had almost swallowed him, but in his mind, getting eaten by a shark would be 1,000 times worse. Frantically, he spun around, trying to get his bearings. He didn't know if he was closer to the lighthouse or the jetty, and at that moment, he really didn't care. He just wanted to get out of the water. I don't see any shark, he heard Cindy yell. You don't see them till it's too late, Sally yelled back. Adam, save yourself. Adam stopped choking long enough to look back at his friends. Is there really a shark? He gasped. Treating water. Watch shook his head. I don't see one. Yeah, but you're almost blind, Adam said. I don't see one either, Cindy said. This is a big ocean and there are sharks in it somewhere, Sally said impatiently. If you don't hurry and get out of the water, I'm sure you will see one soon enough. Oh, brother, Adam grumbled, tired of Sally. He saw he was closer to the lighthouse than the jetty and decided to swim for it. A few seconds later, he was out of the water and shivering beside the front door of the lighthouse. Now he knew why the police hadn't bothered to check out Cindy's story. What was left of the bridge smashed back and forth against the jetty as the surf played with the wooden planks. In a sense, he was trapped, unless he wanted to get back in the water and wait for Sally's next shark attack. Can you feel your legs? Sally called across the distance. Yes, Adam called back. They're still attached to my body, thank you. Try the door to the lighthouse, Watch said. There might be a rope inside that you can throw to us. The door, no surprise, was locked. Adam looked around for a large rock to break the handle. He doubted that the ghost inside would sue him for damaging his property. But this was Spooksville. He probably should have thought more about what he was doing. But he was cold. His clothes were soaked. He just wanted to get inside so he could dry off. Picking up a stone as big as his head, he brought it down hard on the doorknob. The knob broke off and the door swung open. It was dark inside. How clever of them to forget flashlights. Adam took several steps forward, once again feeling his heart pound. There was a musty smell. The place had been locked up a long time. His shoes left clear prints in the dust on the wooden floor. Water dripped from his clothes, smearing the dust. From the light that poured in through the door, he was able to see a spiral staircase that wound up to the top of the lighthouse. The very top was lost in shadows, and the stairway seemed to vanish into a natural night. Hello, he called. The word echoed back to him. Hello, hello, hello. Each repetition was heavier than the one before, more spooky. Hello, hello, hello. Actually, it sounded as if the ghosts were talking. Hello, hello, hello. But not a friendly ghost, not one welcoming him. Go, go. Adam shivered as he listened to the sound. Go, go, go. There was a small storage room off to his left. Inside was a shovel, a wheelbarrow, several metal containers that smelled of kerosene, and a rope. Surprisingly, the rope was fairly new. in better shape than the other equipment. He hurried back outside and held it up for the others to see. Watch spoke for all of them with his next questions. Do you want to use it to get back here? He asked. Or do you want us to come over there? Cindy stepped forward. I want to search the lighthouse, she said. I have to. Sally eyed the water uneasily. If the rope breaks, we'll all end up in the shark's belly. Is there a good place to die on your side? Watch called Adam. Adam glanced back at the winding stairway. He had at least a couple 100 feet of rope in his hands. It would reach, he decided. Yeah, he said. Do you have anything to tie it to on the jetty? Watch studied the boulders. Sure, he said, but we'll be dangling just above the waterline. I wonder how high a shark can reach out of the water, Sally muttered. Adam threw one end of the rope over to Watch, who wrapped it around the boulder. Before Watch tied his end off, Adam re-entered the lighthouse and secured his end to the stairway. He knew it was ridiculous, but he thought he heard his hello still echoing. It was only a faint moan. Oh. Adam went back outside. Watch had drawn the rope tied it. It stretched only 3 feet above the water. Who's going first? Adam called. Cindy grabbed hold of the rope. I will. Then she paused. What do I do? Start with your back to the lighthouse, Watch explained. Grab the rope tightly with your hands and pull yourself out slowly. When you're above the water, throw your feet around the rope too, and don't fall off. Cindy did as Watch instructed. Soon she was inching her way toward Adam. The ends of her blonde hair brushed the tips of the small waves. Adam wanted to say something to encourage her, but couldn't think of anything, especially with Sally glaring at him. Adam just didn't understand Sally. She had been the one who wanted to help Cindy in the first place. Just because he said a few nice things about Cindy was no reason for Sally to get jealous. Adam didn't even know what there was to be jealous about. They were kids and weren't into relationships. He wasn't even sure what the word meant. Just a few more feet, Adam said finally when Cindy was almost across. When her feet were above the stones, he reached out and helped her off the rope. She stood beside him and caught her breath. That was scary, she said. How long have you lived in Spooksville? He asked. 2 months. How about you? 2 weeks. We moved because of my dad's job. Cindy's face fell. We moved because my dad died. Oh, I'm sorry. His family had a house here that we stay in for free. Cindy shrugged weakly. We had nowhere else to go. You don't have any brothers or sisters besides Neil? No. Hey, Sally called from across the water, her hand on the rope. Stop talking and get ready to rescue me if I fall in. I can't wait to rescue you again, Adam called back. Sally took longer to cross than Cindy. Actually, she complained so much the whole way, it was amazing she had enough strength left to hold onto the rope. But finally she was standing beside them. I hope we're not in a hurry on the way back, Sally said. Watch was over in a few moments. The rope was strong. It hardly even sagged under Watch's weight. As long as there were no great whites in the area, they decided they should have a safe return trip. As a group, they entered the lighthouse. The ground floor was basically empty. Except for a storage area and a bunch of spider webs, there was only dust. The spiral stairway seemed to wait for them, daring them, if they had the nerve, to climb its many steps into darkness. Adam gestured above. I wish we had at least one flashlight, he said. When we left home, we were just going for a donut, Watch said. He tested the metal steps with both his hands. The stairway appears strong enough. I bet it leads up to a door of some kind. Why do you say that? Sally asked. It's dark in here, Watch explained, but the lighthouse windows are not boarded up. You can see that from the outside. There must be a floor of some kind above us that blocks us from the windows. He stepped onto the stairways. I guess we'll see in a few minutes. Should we go up together? Sally asked, glancing around nervously. You can stay here all by yourself, Adam said, following Watch onto the steps. But you've seen enough horror films to know what happens when you're alone in a dark place. I grew up in this town, Sally snapped. I watch horror films to relax before I go to sleep. She put a foot onto the doorway. I just hope these steps don't suddenly end. It would be a long fall, Watch agreed, taking the lead. I just hope my brother's up there, Cindy said quietly, walking a step behind Adam. The hike up the stairs was very hard. They were panting within a few minutes, and the door looked so far away so quickly it made Adam dizzy to look down. Also, it was unnerving to climb into blackness. Occasionally, a spider web would settle over their faces and make them jump. Adam wished he had a big lighter or something to see with. The higher they climbed, the darker it got and the warmer. Adam was about to call Watch to stop and rest when Watch shouted, "Ouch!" He was practically invisible to the dark. "We've reached the top," Watch said, rubbing the top of his head. "Is there a door?" Sally asked, crowding up between Adam and Cindy. "I smashed my head against something. I hope it's a door," Watch said. "Stay cool. I'm about to pound it with my fist to try to open it." Watch pounded on what sounded like a wooden door several times without success. "You might want to use your head," Sally suggested. "You had better luck with it." "Maybe there's a lock," Cindy said, slipping past Adam, who could hardly see her. Adam listened for a moment while Watch and Cindy ran their fingers over the wooden door above them. Then suddenly there was a click and a ray of light struck Adam's face. It was coming from the outside, through the windows at the top of the lighthouse. Cindy and Watch had pushed open the trapdoor. As a group, they climbed into the top of the lighthouse. It was dusty as well, and there were cobwebs everywhere. The dust lay particularly thick on the huge metal mirror that curved behind the giant searchlight that stood at the center of the room. Watch drew his finger over the mirror, and Adam was surprised to see how shiny the metal was beneath the dust. The twin bulbs that formed the heart of the searchlight were now covered by glass. They bulged near the center of the mirror like two watchful eyes. Watch studied the searchlight for a moment, checking on the wires that led it. "This thing hasn't been turned on in years," he said finally. Cindy was disturbed. "It came on 2 days ago." "Are you sure the light came from here?" Adam asked. "Positive," Cindy said. Watch was doubtful. "These wires are worn. I don't think they're capable of carrying electrical current." "I know what I saw," Cindy insisted. She scanned the rest of the room. "He must be here somewhere," she said softly, desperately. Adam tried to make her feel better. "If a ghost did take your brother, it might have taken him somewhere else." Cindy sighed. "So you're saying he could be anywhere, which is the same as we're saying we're never going to find him?" "No," Adam said quickly. "I meant we've only begun the search. Let's look around some more." There wasn't much to the room. Besides the searchlight, there was a plain wooden desk and a chair, a simple cot, and a bathroom that looked as if it hadn't been used in years. The faucet in the sink didn't even work. When they tried it, a faint smell of gas came out of water instead. But Sally did find something unusual on the side of the desk. Carved in old wood, on the opposite side of a roughly shaped heart, were two words, "Mommy" and "Rick." Those words were probably carved by a child. Adam looked to Sally and Watch. "Do you know who operated the lighthouse last?" Adam asked. "I heard it was a blood-sucking sailor," Sally said. Watch shook his head. "No, the bloodsucker was the guy who used to run the bait shop on the pier." "Bob said the lighthouse was last run by a woman, an old woman. Is she dead now?" Cindy asked. "Most old people in Spooksville are dead," Sally said. Watch nodded. "This was at least 30 years ago. I'm sure the woman is dead." "You have to be dead to be a ghost," Sally said, trying to encourage Cindy. "What about Rick?" Adam asked. Watch shook his head. "I don't know what happened to him. Bob might if we can find him. There might also be records in the library that we could check." Sally made a face. "We have to go to the library? Yuck! What's wrong with the library?" Adam asked reluctantly. "The librarian's a little strange," Watch said. "A little?" Sally said. "His name is Mr. Spiney, and when he takes a picture for your library card, he actually takes an x-ray. He likes to see your bones when you check out a book to make sure they're healthy. If you go into the reference room, he locks you inside. just in case you're thinking of stealing one of his precious magazines or papers. The last time I went in there, I was a prisoner for 2 nights before he let me out. I read the last 10 years of Time magazine and Fangoria. I'm glad you put the time to good use, Watch said. Mr. Spiny also forces you to drink milk when you're at the library, Sally said. Don't want to let those bones crumble before their time, he always says. I swear I saw that guy at the cemetery once digging up skeletons. I hear he's got a whole closet full of bones at home. Let's not worry about Mr. Spiny, Adams said, not wanting to listen to another weird Sally Watch conversation. I want to go to the library. He paused and turned to Cindy. As long as that's all right with you. Cindy nodded sadly, still looking around. I was hoping so hard to find Neil here, waiting for me. Adam patted her on the back. We're making progress. That's what's important. They started to follow Watch down the stairs. It was then that the searchlight came on. By mysterious chance, the light was pointed not out to the sea, but towards the stairway. Watch was already several steps down the stairs when the light blazed to life, but Cindy was just stepping down into it. Like the rest of them, the sudden light blinded Cindy. Rather than stepping onto the stairway, she stumbled and slid over the slide. Adam saw a falling blur off to his left and heard her scream. Not sure what he was doing, he dove to catch her. The searchlight went off. Adam saw stars, not much else, but after a second or two he realized he was holding on to one of Cindy's hands, and that she was struggling desperately at the end of it. If she let go, or if he let go of her, she would plunge over 100 feet to the floor of the lighthouse. Adam screamed for Watch to help. Pull her over towards you on the stairway, Adam called. I can't reach her, Watch shouted back, cleaning his glasses on his shirt. He did have the worst eyes of all of them. I'm right here, Cindy cried. The trapdoor that led into the upper room was fairly wide. Cindy had stumbled off the side opposite the stairway. As Adam's vision cleared, he saw her feet kicking in midair. Sally kneeled by his side and tried to grab Cindy's other hand. We won't let you go, Sally cried. You're knocking my hand loose, Cindy screamed. Oh, Sally said and sat back on her knees. Sorry. Watch, Adam said anxiously, losing his grip on Cindy. Put your glasses back on and reach out and grab her feet. I'm going to lose her. Watch rubbed his eyes. I really can't see yet. Cindy, keep talking or screaming or something. I'll hone in on you. Okay, I can talk, Cindy said breathlessly. What should I talk about? I've always been afraid of heights. I don't like ghosts much either, but I like ice cream. I like school. I like singing. Some boys. Which boys? Sally asked, climbing back up on her knees. Gotcha, Watch said, reaching out and grabbing Cindy's feet. Are you sure you've got her? Adam asked. Don't let go of her yet, if that's what you're asking, Watch said, pulling Cindy closer. That's exactly what he's asking, Cindy said frantically. But just then, her feet touched something solid. Oh, thank goodness. Is that the stairs below my feet? It better be, Watch said, pulling Cindy farther over. It's what I'm standing on, but I still can't see. Watch pulled her all the way onto the stairs. You're safe. Adam let go of Cindy's hand. Whew, he said. That was close. He turned back onward the searchlight and complained to Watch. I thought you said the light couldn't come on. Watch came back up the steps, Cindy by his side. Watch studied the wires that led to the searchlight, but once more shook his head. Did you guys touch anything? Watch asked. No, Adam and Sally said. I don't see how it turned on, Watch said. These wires are shot. Could it have another source of power? Cindy wondered out loud. They all looked at one another. Then they heard a sound, a faint howling sound. It seemed to come from far off, from somewhere out over the ocean, but it wasn't so far away that it didn't scare them. They hurried down the stairs and out of the lighthouse. Actually, they ran out of the place and worked their way back to the jetty on the rope. they could check it out later, they decided. End of chapter 4. So, what do you all think about chapter 4? That was a pretty adventurous chapter, I think. They went through so much. Adam fell to the water, and Sally was being paranoid, thinking she saw sharks chasing after Adam. Then all of them went to the lighthouse. We hear Adam's voice echo in the lighthouse. So a lot of things happened here. It was a very action-driven chapter, I think. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's chapter, and we'll be back soon with chapter 5. Thanks for joining today. Have a good one.